Chernobyl had been silent for decades. The air clung heavy with radiation, the trees blackened skeletons, the ground brittle as ash. Time itself seemed to have abandoned this place, leaving behind only ghosts and silence. But beneath its scarred soil, hidden in the bowels of a forgotten military base, silence was broken. The base was no ordinary ruin. Built in the shadow of the world's most infamous disaster, it had become a playground for men who thought themselves gods. Scientists worked in secret, under the orders of the highest branches of the Secret Service, tampering with forces older than humanity itself. They worked with DNA that was not of this world. Ancient, unearthed from sites that whispered of angelic wars and divine punishments. It belonged to the Nephilim, the giants, the hybrids, the fallen offspring of gods and mortals, splattering the contents onto the hand of a weary scientist. He had only a moment to gasp before his scream tore through the walls of the base like a blade. One mistake was all it took. A glass vial slipped. It shattered across the lab floor. His skin bubbled and tore as if something beneath was fighting to get out. His veins glowed red-hot, lightning bolts dancing along his bones. Flesh split open in jagged cracks, his body twisting unnaturally as his face stretched into a mask of agony. His voice grew louder, shaking the earth. A sound not of man, but of something inhuman, something returning. Lights shattered, monitors exploded, then the ceiling itself trembled as the heavens answered. A jagged bolt of red lightning speared down from the stormless sky, punching through the earth, obliterating the laboratory in a roar of fire and ash. And from that storm of dust and flame, something crawled free. A roar bellowed into the night, deep and monstrous, carrying with it the weight of rage buried for centuries. The earth shuddered, the air turned crimson, and in that moment, hell itself was unleashed. Hours later, BlackStorm descended. He was the world's greatest protector. His name carried weight across continents, whispered with reverence, with fear. Cloaked in lightning, he had been called a god among men. Some believed he was one, but now, as he landed amidst the charred rubble of Chernobyl, he felt the unease creeping in. The silence was wrong. The order he'd been given was simple: quarantine the area, eliminate the threat, but no briefing, no explanation, not even a hint of what he would face. He walked through smoke and ruin, the acrid stench of scorched flesh coating his throat. His boots crunched over bone fragments and twisted steel. Fires burned in unnatural shades of red and orange, licking the sky like torches from another world. He knew something had happened here, something that no bomb, no accident, no human weapon could explain. And then, it revealed itself. From the smoke, the beast emerged. 8 feet tall, broad as a mountain, its skin cracked and glowing like molten stone. Its eyes burned with unholy fire, and smoke hissed from its nostrils with every breath. It stepped into the firelight, the shadows bending away from it, its mouth pulling into a grin that promised nothing but violence. BlackStorm's jaw tightened. "What are you?" he whispered. The monster did not answer. It only roared, then it charged. The ground shook beneath its steps. BlackStorm launched into the air, lightning sparking around his fists. This is no man, he thought, panic nipping at the edges of his mind. This is something from the pits of hell. But the beast leapt, higher than any mortal thing had a right to. Its hand clamped around his leg with crushing force, dragging him from the skies. In one savage motion, it slammed him into the earth, the impact cracking the ground for yards in every direction. The hero gasped, stunned, but before he could react, the beast began to stomp on his skull, over and over, each blow rattling his brain like thunder in a cage. BlackStorm grabbed the monster's ankle, twisted and hurled it across the ruins. The ground exploded beneath the fire god's body as it skidded 30 feet away. Seizing the moment, BlackStorm soared high, summoning a storm with a single gesture. Lightning bled from the clouds, gathering in his hands. He descended like a spear, seizing the beast by the throat, dragging it into the heavens. A colossal bolt of lightning screamed down into the monster's chest, lighting the night as if the sun itself had split the earth. The creature roared, flung back into the ground with such force it carved a crater into the earth. Smoke billowed. For a moment, all was silent. BlackStorm hovered, chest heaving. It's done, he thought. It has to be done. But the silence betrayed him. From the crater, the fire god rose, unbroken. It lifted its head, eyes glowing brighter than ever, and raised its hands to the skies. The heavens turned crimson, the air thickening with dread. And then, red lightning answered. It struck BlackStorm in the head. His vision went white. Pain unlike anything he had ever known coursed through his body, every nerve screaming. He fell like a stone, smashing into the ground. The monster was on him instantly. The fire god laughed as it stomped on his chest, bones snapping under the weight. BlackStorm threw punches, each one carrying the weight of storms, but the beast took them all, shrugging them off as though they were nothing. It seized him by the head and slammed his face into the rubble, over and over, until the ground was slick with blood. "You are no god," the creature hissed. "You are prey." It dragged him across the ruins, smashing him into walls, rocks, twisted steel beams. Each impact broke something new: ribs, arms, vertebrae. Blood poured freely, staining the earth in rivers. BlackStorm tried to rise, but the monster's fists fell again and again, reducing him to a trembling wreck. Then came the tearing. The beast seized his legs. With a sickening crack, it snapped both at the knees, twisting them until bone pierced through flesh. BlackStorm screamed, a sound so raw and broken it echoed through the dead city. The fire god yanked, hard. His legs tore free in a spray of blood and sinew. BlackStorm sobbed, tears mixing with blood. He tried to crawl, tried to fight, but his arms were next. The monster ripped them from their sockets, one by one, tossing them into the fire like discarded toys. Now he was nothing but a torso, broken, twitching. His once divine body was reduced to meat. The fire god crouched, placing a molten hand on his chest. It dug its claws into his ribs, pulling them apart like doors until his heart was exposed. BlackStorm's eyes widened in horror as the beast reached in and crushed it. Blood sprang across its grinning face. And still, cruelly, BlackStorm did not die. The monster nailed what remained of him to the ruins with jagged rods, forcing him to hang like a crucified offering. He was still alive when it began punching his head into pulp, each strike reducing him further, until all that remained was a bloody, twitching torso. 3 days later, the Secret Service entered the ruins. What they found was not their champion, it was a shrine of horror. BlackStorm's torso hung from the rafters, pierced with steel. His severed limbs dangled from ropes, each tied separately, swaying in the wind. His head, or what little remained, was smeared against a wall in the shape of a broken lightning bolt, carved from his blood. Pinned to his chest was a note written in his own blood: "The time of heroes is over, the time of gods has begun." Some agents vomited where they stood, others stared, silent and broken. Humanity's greatest protector was gone, reduced not just to a corpse but to a warning. And somewhere in the ruins, buried in shadow and flame, the fire god waited, hungry for more.